Good evening, guys. So we'll start the discussion. Yeah. So what is the answer for the first one? Which of the following is not true for a region with uniform electric field? Which of the following is not true for a region with uniform electric field? It may contain dipoles. Yes or no? Is it true or not? It may contain dipoles. Answer is no. Because if it contains a dipole, what will happen? The field will be non-uniform. It may have uniformly distributed charge. No. Again, non-uniform. It can have free charges. No. Again, non-uniform. So what is the answer? None of these. So there is a point P which lies on the perpendicular bisector of an electric dipole of dipole moment P. If the distance of the point P from the dipole is R, which is much larger than the size of the dipole, then electric field P is directly proportional to. So E is equal to Kp divided by R cube. So it's directly proportional to P and inversely proportional to R cube. So answer is B. When 10 power 19 electrons are removed from a neutral metal plate, then what will happen? It will gain a charge of how much value?
Plus 1.6.
Yes. It will be 10 power 19 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. This and this will get cancelled. Answer will be plus 1.6. Correct. Fourth one. This is a repeated question. Many times I've asked. The region between electric field along axial and equatorial. So EA is equal to, EA is equal to 2 times EQ. So two capacitors 10 and 20 are connected in series with a 30 volt battery. The charges on the capacitors will be respectively. How much is the answer? First, find the equivalent capacitance. See, if there is any doubt, please stop me, okay? So 1 by C dash is equal to 20 plus 10, 30 divided by 200. This and this will get cancelled, which implies 20 divided by 3 is C dash, right? So Q is equal to C dash into V. That is 20 divided by 3 into 30. It will go 10 times. Answer will be 200 microcoulomb. So 200 microcoulomb is the charge. Answer should be what? Do we need to calculate the charge on each capacitor?
No, sir, it will be same.
It will be same because they are in series. Right? Sixth one. The work done in charge carrying a charge Q once around a circle of radius R with Q at the center of the circle is. So there is a capital. Why?
Sir, work done will be 0 because initial and final point are the same.
Okay. So initial and final point is same. That is, then the work done will be 0 only if the force is conservative in nature. You mean to say electrostatic force is conservative in nature? Is it not non-conservative?
Yes, sir.
Is it non-conservative? See, I will confuse you. Don't get carried. What you told is 100% right. Electrostatic force is conservative in nature. You told right, initial and the final points are same. Okay, that is one logic. So electrostatic force is conservative in nature. Please take a note. It's not a non-conservative force. It is a conservative force. So work done by a conservative force in a round trip is always 0. That is one logic. And secondly, force is in this direction. Displacement is in this direction. Force and displacement are perpendicular. That is another logic. Thirdly, what can you say? This is an equipotential surface. Because with respect to a point charge, what is the equipotential surface? It will be a sphere. On that sphere, if you move any object in a circular path on the circumference of it, work done is still a 0. Seventh. Right. So the force of attraction, I hope sixth one is clear, right? Everyone is clear? I gave you 3 logics. Right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the force of attraction with the plates of a parallel plate capacitor having area A and charge Q is given by. So what is the formula for force? Did anyone attempt this question?
Yes, sir.
What is the answer you got?
Q square by A epsilon.
How did you do?
Sigma is equal to epsilon naught T, that formula, sir.
Sigma is equal to epsilon naught
E.
Okay, where did you get this from? What does the sigma stand for?
Surface charge density.
Sorry?
Surface charge density.
Okay, surface charge density, you're trying to say it is equal to epsilon naught times E. Okay, then what did you do?
So I substituted this in the formula F is equal to QE. E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught.
1 minute. F is equal to QE. E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Okay. Q into sigma divided by, so sigma you wrote it as Q divided by A.
Q by A.
So you got Q square by A epsilon naught.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the force of attraction, so this is the total force existing, right?
Yes, sir.
But the answer given is Q square by 2A epsilon naught. Okay. The force of attraction with the plates of the parallel plate having a charge A and Q is given by. Okay. So there is one way of solving this. We know that E is equal to minus dV by dr. Correct? So which implies Q will be equal to, Q into E is what? Force. Correct? Q into E is equal to minus Q into dV divided by dr. We know this. So what is Q into dV, guys? What is charge multiplied by the difference in potential? Is it not potential minus du by dr? Correct? So this is the force they are expecting. So what is the value of U? What is the energy stored by a capacitor? It is half CV square. So F will be equal to half into C will be epsilon naught A divided by D into V. What can I write it as? Let us leave V as it is. So V, what can we write? Since the option is given in terms of Q.
Can use V is equal to ED, sir. Can we use
no, that I could have used ED, but see, I'm looking at the options. Option doesn't have E. You're able to understand. So that is not, that is the reason why I'm trying to use Q divided by C. Q is equal to CV. So it will be Q divided by C half CV square. So minus du divided by this thing. Okay. So listen, guys. So F is equal to minus du divided by, can I write it as the distance? Instead of D, I will take it as R so that there is no confusion. Okay. So, or else I'll take it as D only. Okay, I'll take it as R. So can I write U is equal to half epsilon naught A divided by, instead of D, I'm writing it as R. Okay. Just for the sake of understanding, into V square. Clear? I hope it's clear till this step, right? Any doubt, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. So if I differentiate this with respect to R, what do I get? Minus du divided by dr is equal to half epsilon naught A V square into derivative of 1 by R is how much? Minus 1 by R square.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So minus of minus half epsilon naught A divided by R square into what is the value of B? V I can write it as Q by C. So Q square divided by C square. So again, what can I write C as? Q square divided by C square is epsilon naught square A square divided by R square. So R square gone, 1 epsilon naught gone, 1 A is gone. So you'll get Q square divided by 2 times epsilon naught A. Okay. So this is how we get. Don't worry, they'll not ask this tough question and all. But if at all this comes also, you can use it as a formula. Okay, it is very, very rare that they will ask this kind of question. But I hope everyone is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So Q square divided by 2 epsilon naught A is the answer. Shall I move on to the next one, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anybody with the answer for 8th one? There is an electron which is initially at rest. So U is equal to 0. It is accelerated through a potential difference of 200 volt. Okay, so that it acquires a velocity of 8.4 into 10 power 6 meter per second, the value of E by M. So how do we solve? So which energy is getting converted to which energy? The accelerating potential that is applied is giving the kinetic energy to the particles. So E divided by M is equal to half V square divided by capital V. So half into V square is 8.4 into 10 power 6 the whole square. The whole divided by capital V is how much? 200. On solving this, how much are you going to get? Anybody with the answer? 8th one. The answer is 1.76 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kilogram. How many of you solved this? See, I'm also verifying that the answer is right, guys. If there is any contradiction, please let me know. Then I'll proceed with the calculation.
Didn't attend
Nobody
it, sir.
didn't attempt? Okay. Then it's fine. Those who have attempted, if there is a shift in answer, then please let me know. 9th one. When 3 identical bulbs of 600 to 200, 60 to 200 volt rating are connected in series to a 200 volt supply, the power drawn by them will be how much? So 3 identical bulbs. Okay, when you talk about the bulbs, they have resistances. Let the resistance be R1, R2, and R3. Okay, when 3 identical bulbs of 60 to 200 volt, then it should be like this. 60, 200. Did you guys understand what it is? It is 60 watt and 200 volt. Okay, are connected to a 200 volt supply. So power of each bulb is 60 watt case. When they are connected in series, what will happen to the resistances? The equivalent resistance. So they asked what is the power drawn? So equivalent resistance is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. But how can you write R in terms of power? V square divided by P is equal to V square divided by P1 plus V square divided by P2 plus V square divided by P3. All the three are going to have the same value of P. So cancel it. 1 by P is equal to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2 plus 1 by P3. This is the formula for the equivalent power when the bulbs are connected in series. Please make a note. So 1 by P will be equal to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2 plus 1 by P3 is 3 divided by P1. So 3 divided by 60, that is 1 by 20. So what will be the equivalent power? It is 20 watt. So please make a note, guys. This is a very important point. So I would like to mention one more.
Voltage won't be same across all the three.
But no, but here it is called as power rating. Okay, it's called as power rating. They are operated at the same voltage. Okay, that is a, okay. See, for example, you go to a shop and buy a tube light, right? The tube light will have a specification. Let's say that light is of 40 watt and it is connected across a 220 volt source. Means you take 3 such tube lights and connect them in series. This is what is going to happen. You're able to understand? Okay. Similarly, for resistors in parallel or bulbs in parallel, then what will be the formula for equivalent power? Power equivalent will be equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. So please make a note of this point, guys. Next time onwards, you can directly calculate it like this. Okay, I hope it is clear.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. So 10th one, what is the answer? There is a current of 0.25 ampere which flows in the main circuit.
1/2.
Okay.
Sir, I think.
I think we have, there's a repeated question, I think. 1/2, one is the option answer given. So let me explain this question again. There is a current of 0.25 ampere which flows in the main circuit. Now the resistance R is disconnected and connected across a 4 ohm resistor. The current in the circuit now is. So initially what has happened, the main circuit is something like this. Now the connect is and then connected across the 4 ohm resistor. Okay. So this is the main circuit, sorry. So when this is the main circuit, what is going to be the current that is flowing? What is this? 0.25 ampere is flowing, right? So what is the equivalent resistance of this main circuit? R plus 4. So R is equal to V divided by I. I is 0.25. So that is 8. So R is equal to how much? It is 4 ohm. So this is actually a 4 ohm resistor. Now what are they doing? The resistance R is disconnected and connected across. What is the meaning of across? It is connected in parallel. So this will be 4 ohm and this will be 4 ohm. This is 2 volt. Okay, now what is the equivalent resistance? This will be 2 ohm. So 2 ohm connected across a 2 volt resistor will generate a current of how many amperes? Is there anyone who is not clear? Is there anyone wants me to explain?
Clear, sir.
Clear, sir.
Okay. 11th one. This is a theory question. Meter, volt, inverse,
Mobility.
second in mobility. So what is the formula for mobility? It is amount of... Yeah, please tell me.
Drift velocity curve.
Yes. So how much is the drift velocity that is caused when you apply a unit electric field? Okay. 12th one. Internal resistance of 0.5 ohm each. Internal resistance is 0.5 ohm each. If in C, the negative is connected to B, the current will be how much? What is the answer? It's actually a simple question. So all the bulbs, all the cells are connected in series or parallel? They are connected in series.
Series.
Okay, what will happen to the EMFs in series? They will get added. I hope everyone knows this, right? It gets added. Okay, one important point to be noted here is they will get added when the connection is like this. So what am I trying to say? The negative of the first cell should be connected to the positive of the second cell. Whereas, if I take something like this, I will call this also as series. But what should I do? Instead of adding, I should subtract. So, which two will get nullified? B and C will nullify each other. So, what will be the equivalent circuit? 4.5, this 2 volt, and there is an internal resistance of 0.5 ohm. So this internal resistor and external resistor can be treated as a series combination. So it is a 5 ohm. Excuse me. It is a 5 ohm resistor that is connected across a 2 volt cell. So what will be the answer? V is equal to IR. I will be equal to 2 divided by 5. Is there an option? 12th one. C is the option. We are right only, no? I made a mistake. Can someone tell me the mistake that I made? Actually, the answer given is 2 by 6. What is the mistake? The EMFs will get nullified, but there are 3 resistors with the same internal resistance value. So, how much will be the total internal resistance? It will be 1.5, right? So, this 1.5 added to 4.5 will be 6. So, answer is 2 divided by 6. So, option A is the right answer. Okay. 13.
Sir, can you explain it again, sir? How is the cells nullified, sir?
How the?
Sir, how is the cells nullified, sir? Can you explain that?
Nullified is because this and this, how are they connected? They are connected like this, right? So why it will get nullified is, observe. If I connect a resistor here, for example, okay, this will supply a current I in this direction. Is that right? This will supply the same value of current I, but in the opposite direction. This I and this I put together will make how much current to flow through the circuit. They both are in opposite directions. So what will happen?
Yes, sir.
The total current flowing will be 0, means there is no point of having these two cells. That is why the net,
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that is why the net EMF is 0,
Yes,
but
sir.
net resistance is not 0. I made a mistake there. Okay, that is why you should take 1.5. Be careful, guys. They have given 2/5 also to confuse you. Next, there is a charged particle which moves with the velocity v in a uniform magnetic field B. The magnetic force, option C, Ada.
Yes, sir.
Moves with the velocity. The magnetic force experienced by the particle is 0 if B and B are parallel. That is answer. Correct. There is a metallic rod of mass per unit length, that is lambda is equal. See, this lambda is mass per unit length. Okay. Generally, lambda is the symbol that is used. So it is half kilogram per meter. Is lying on a horizontally. Was lying horizontally on a smooth inclined plane, which makes an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. The rod is not allowed to slide down by flowing a current through it when a magnetic field of induction 0.25 Tesla is acting on it in the vertical direction. The current flowing in the rod to keep the rod stationary is how much? So this is slightly a tricky question. Observe, guys. So there is an inclined plane where the angle of inclination is 30 degrees with the horizontal. There is a rod lying like this. Okay. Is lying on a smooth inclined plane. Suppose if it is a smooth inclined plane, what should have happened to that rod? It should have slided down due to its own weight. Right? mg will act like this. mg sine 30 will act like this. Okay. It should have happened. But what is happening? The rod is not allowed to slide down by flowing a current through it when a magnetic field of induction 0.25 is acting on it in vertical direction. Okay. So magnetic field is in this direction. Right? Then the force that is acting on this particle should be in which direction? We know that force is perpendicular to both current and magnetic field. So the force will be in this direction. Now, if you resolve this force, then this will become F times sine 30 degrees. Okay. So mg sine 30 should be equal to F sine 30. Actually, it is not. 1 minute. There's 30. There's 60. There's 30, 60. This should be 30, which should be F cos 30. Okay. Again, I'm repeating. This is a tricky question. Don't expect this kind of a question. Don't worry about it. It's just for the knowledge that is given. So mg sine 30 is equal to F cos 30. How will you calculate mg, guys? How will you calculate m?
Sir, we can have F as BIL, right? So that L, if we bring this side, M by L.
Very good. It is mg sine 30. So I will come to the other side. M by L into G sine 30 is equal to, or divided by B is equal to I times cos 30. So M by L is half. G is, I'll take it as 10 for the time being, half. Sine 30 is half, divided by 0.25 is 1 by 4 is equal to I into root 3 by 2. So this and this 4 will get cancelled. It will be 20 divided by root 3 is equal to I. On solving this, the answer that you'll be getting is 11.32. Okay. Fifteenth. There is a magnetic force F which is equal to Q into V vector cross B vector. The dimensions of B are. What is the answer, guys?
Sir.
Which one?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Tell me.
Sir, force, that formula is the cross product of IL and B, no, sir. So it will
Okay.
be BL sine theta. We don't know if it is maximum, like the theta value of sine theta, we don't know, right? Only for pi by 2 of theta, we can take it directly as BIL. So
That is why I told, no, the force will be perpendicular to both B and I. When you're doing I into L vector cross B vector, right? Whenever you do cross product, how will the resultant be? The resultant is always perpendicular to both the components for which you're doing the cross product. That is why I took it perpendicularly. I didn't take it in this direction. See, if I took it in this direction, then when I solved, F cos 30 would have been in this direction. F cos 30 and mg sin 30 acting in both the directions would have pulled the rod downwards. That is the reason I had to take it in the opposite direction.
okay,
Are you able to
sir.
understand? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Can I rub it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So 15th, F is equal to Q into V vector cross B vector. So F is equal to QVB sin theta. Correct? So F is measured in mL square T minus 2. Kilogram meters per second square. M into A. So mL T minus 2 is equal to Q is what? Ampere into time. Correct? V is LT minus 1 into B. So B will be equal to ML. L will be con L0 T minus 2 A minus 1. Is there an option like this? M T minus 2 A minus 1. So option C is the right answer. I hope most of you would have got it right. 16th. There is a galvanometer of 50 ohm resistance and has 25 divisions. A current of 4 into 10 power minus 4 ampere gives a deflection of 1 division. Okay. To convert this galvanometer into a voltmeter having a range of 25 volt, it should be connected with resistance of how much value? Obviously, these two options are eliminated because they use the word shunt. So it should either be this one or this one. What is the right answer?
2450, I think, sir.
2450. How did you do it? So 4 into 10 power minus 4 causes a deflection of 1 division.
So
okay,
4 into 10 to the power minus 4 into 25
will be the full scale
current through the galvanometer.
That will be the full scale deflection current. Okay, va? So 100 into 10 power minus 4, that will be 10 power minus 2 ampere. So resistance of the galvanometer is 50. So what is the formula? The resistance you need to connect in series is V divided by IG minus capital G. So what is the value of V? They're expecting 25 volt divided by 10 power minus 2 minus G is how much? 50. Yeah? So 25 into 100 is 2500 minus 50. Yeah, it is 2450, correct. So 2450 ohm should be connected in series. 17th. In the magnetic meridian of a certain place, okay, the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field is this much and the dip angle is 60 degrees. What is the magnetic field at this location? So BH is equal to BE cos delta. 0.26 is equal to BE times cos delta is half. Answer will be 0.52 cos. This is a textbook problem. Okay. 18th. If the rotational velocity of a dynamo armature means they are talking about the AC generator, is doubled, then induced EMF will become what? What will happen to the induced EMF? It is NBA omega. This is the maximum value. Okay. I'm observing that EMF is directly proportional to whom? The rotational velocity, the angular velocity. Right. So if this value omega is doubled, what will happen to the induced EMF? That will also become 2 times. 19th. In an electrical circuit, the components RLC and an AC voltage source all are connected in series. When L is removed from the circuit, the phase difference between the voltage and the current in the circuit is pi by 3. If instead C is removed from the circuit, the phase difference is again pi by 3. The power factor of the circuit is. How to solve? So this is a slightly tricky question and a good question. Please make a note. You are going to learn something new. So anybody with the idea? Why did they speak about the phase difference here? When L is removed, what would have happened? When L is removed, it would have been an RC circuit. Right? So for an RC circuit, you're going to get tan phi is equal to XC divided by R. Correct? Right?
Yes.
So that time you're getting pi by 3. Now what they're doing, instead of removing L, if the C is removed, then what will have happened? The phase angle is still pi by 3. Then the important conclusion that we can draw from here is, that is possible. See, tan phi can be the same. What is not changed? In the second case, XL divided by R. So tan phi is the same in both the cases. R is same in both the cases. Then what is the relation between XL and XC?
Equal.
Yeah, equal.
XL is equal to XC happens in what condition?
Resonance.
Resonance.
Okay, that is what they told indirectly. Okay. So under resonance condition, if you need to find the power factor, then what is it going to be? Cos phi is equal to R divided by Z. But in the case of resonance, what is Z equal to?
R.
R. So this will be R divided by R. This will be 1. So what is the answer?
1.
Got it? So it's a very good question. Okay. So generally the word resonance comes, what are all the keywords they will use? Today I was explaining someone, they asked, whenever you see the word resonance, what are all the things that come to your mind? The value of current should be
Maximum.
Similarly, XL will be equal
Impedance
to XC.
should be.
Huh?
Impedance should be minimum, sir.
And this impedance should be the least. Correct. Okay. So these are all the keyword guys, and this is something new. Right. If the current is halved in a coil, then the energy stored is how much times the previous value? If the current is halved, then the energy stored is how much of the previous value in a coil. So what is the energy stored in a coil? Half Li square. L is going to be the same. So current is decreased. What will happen to the energy stored? It becomes 1 by 4 times. Correct? 21. In a series LCR circuit, the voltage across the resistance, capacitance, and inductance is 10 volt each. The capacitance is short circuited. The voltage across the inductance will be. How to solve? So VR is equal to VL is equal to VC. And they told series. Series means current is the same. So IR is equal to I into XL is equal to I into XC. I gets cancelled. So R is equal to XL is equal to XC. XL is equal to XC again. Resonance. The capacitance is short circuited, then the voltage across the inductance will be how much? So how to solve this? So you will find the impedance first. Impedance is equal to root of R square plus XC square because capacitance is short circuited, then XL is going to be there. R square plus XL square. But XL is what in this question? It is equal to R. So what will be the value of Z? Z will be equal to root 2 times R. Any doubt in this?
No doubt.
Okay. So we know that V is equal to I into R. Right. So before that, I need to find what is the current that is flowing through the circuit. So what is the current that is flowing through the circuit? If I call it as I dash, what is going to be the current?
Z, V by Z.
That is 10 divided by 10 only, no? 10 divided by
10.
root 2 times R. This is the value of current. Then the voltage across the inductance will be. So voltage across the inductance, if I call it as VL, VL will be equal to I dash into XL. I dash is 10 divided by root 2 R into XL is R only. R and R will get cancelled. So it will be root 2 into 10 divided by 2. 5 root 2 is there, Ada? Oh, 10 root 2 itself is there, no? 21A is the answer. Correct?
Yes.
21, 10 by root 2 is the answer. 22nd. There is a magnetic field of this much value which acts at right angles to a coil of this much value with 50 turns. So B is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 2 Tesla. Theta is equal to 90 degrees. A is equal to 100 into 10 power minus 4 meters square. And number of turns is 50. The average induced EMF is 0.1 volt. When it is removed from the field in time t, the value of t is how much? So how to solve this? E is equal to minus n into d phi divided by dt. Because B is there, A is there. What comes to your mind? Flux. So minus 50 into B into A is 2 into 100, 200. So this will go, these two zeros, this will get cancelled. So 2 into 10 power minus 4 divided by the time is equal to, this is 0.1 volt, that is 10 power minus 1. So how much is answer, guys? 10 is equal, so I'll make it plus. Because time cannot be negative. 10 power minus 1 divided by 100 into 10 power minus 4. So that will be 10 power minus 1 divided by 10 power minus 2, 10. 10 seconds is the answer. Is that an option? Yes, 22C is the answer. But answer given here is D. Did anyone get D? Answer given I'm getting is 10 seconds. Minus n, 50 into 2. 10 power minus 1 is equal to 50 into 2 is 100. 100 into 10 power minus 4 is
10 to the power minus 3 is 100 into 10 to the power minus 10. Minus 3 by...
1 minute. Is there any mistake? Let me write it again. So EMF is 0.1. So 10 power minus 1 is equal to minus, I'm forgetting this, minus 50 into 2 into 10 power minus 4 into 100 into 10 power minus 4, the whole divided by time. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So 100 into 100 and this will cancel. So T will be equal to 10 power minus 1 divided by 10 power minus 4. Oh, sorry, 10 power minus 4 divided by 10 power minus 1. So it becomes 10 power minus 3 seconds. So 10 power minus 3 would be option.
Sir, I think...
is there any mistake that I did?
200 into...
this is 2, 10 power minus 2. Correct? 10 power minus 2. This will become 10 power minus 1. Answer is right only. I hope everyone is clear. 10 power minus 1 second, which is 0.1 second. This is answer, guys, not C. 22, the option is D. 23rd. Expression for the magnetic energy stored in a solenoid in terms of magnetic field, area, and length of the coil. So what is the formula for magnetic field? Half. What is the energy? That is half Li square. But what is L equal to? L for a solenoid. Self-inductance for a solenoid is mu naught N square A divided by small l. So take and substitute it here. Okay, in terms of magnetic field also they want to. What is the value of magnetic field? It is mu naught into capital N into I divided by L. So what is that we need to eliminate? Capital N is not needed, or I is also not needed. So I will be equal to B into L divided by mu naught into capital N. Sorry, did I erase it? I will be equal to B into L divided by mu naught into capital N. Take and substitute it in half Li square. Half into L is mu naught N square A divided by L into I is B square L square divided by mu naught capital N square. Capital N square, mu naught, gone. So B square A L square, okay, one L is also gone. B square A L, is there anything else that is getting cancelled? B square AL divided by root of, so this I square.
Is also
mu naught square, no? 1 mu naught will be. So B square AL divided by 2 mu naught. This one, no? 23rd, the option is C. Right. 24th. There is a question repeated. The phase difference between flux linked to the coil, uniform magnetic field, and induced EMF. Answer is pi by 2. Because one will be in terms of cos, one will be in terms of sine. 25. There is a wire loop which is rotated in a magnetic field. The frequency of change of direction of the induced EMF is. This also I asked last time. So how many times will the frequency change? No, frequency of change of direction. When you talk, so when a wire is rotated in magnetic field, what will happen? There will be an alternating current. So an alternating current, in one revolution, how many times is the direction changing? Twice. 22nd. Each point of the 2-point charges are doubled and their distance is half. Force of interaction becomes. So F is directly proportional to Q square divided by D square. So here it is Q square divided by D square. Here F becomes 2 points are doubled. So it becomes 4Q square divided by D square by 4. It becomes 16 times. 26. The option is C. I applied basic Coulomb's law. 27. There is an electric field in x direction. If the work done in moving a charge of 0.2 coulomb through a distance of 2 meters along the line making an angle 60 degrees with the x-axis 4 joule, then what is the value of electric field? There is an electric field in x direction. If the work done in moving a charge of 0.4 through a distance of 2 meters along the line making an angle 60 degrees with the x-axis, so 60 degrees. This is the direction of electric field. Force is applied in this direction. So in this direction, 4 joules of work is done. What is the value of E? So how to solve this? So this is the direction in which force is acting. This is the direction in which displacement has taken place. So work done is equal to force into displacement into cos theta. So work done is 4 joule. Force is Q into E. That is 0.2 into E is how much? That is what we need to find. Displacement is 2 meters. Cos of 60 degrees. Cos 60 and 2 will get cancelled. So E will be equal to 4 divided by 0.2 or 40 divided by 2. 20 will be the answer. So 27 is the answer. 28. The diagram below represents the regions, shows regions of equipotentials. A positive charge is moved from point A to B in each direction. Maximum work is required to move Q in figure B. Correct? B. In all the 4 cases. Why?
Same potential.
Same potential difference. Correct?
Yes.
So it is, yes. So work done is equal to Q into delta V. That is the reason. Very good. So 29th, a 4 microfarad capacitor is charged to 400 volt. If its plates are joined through a resistance of 2 kilo ohm, then the heat produced in the resistances. So this is a tricky question. There is a 4 microfarad capacitor which is charged to 400 volt. Okay, the plates are charged. Now these plates are connected with the help of a 2 kilo ohm resistor. Then the heat produced in this resistor is what? Then the heat produced in this resistor, when will the resistor get the maximum heat? When all the energy possessed by the capacitor is lost. Right? So indirectly they're asking you what is the energy stored in the capacitor. So what is the answer? U is equal to half CV square. Half into C is 4 into 10 power minus 6 into V square is 400 the whole square. So this will cancel 2 times. So 2 into 10 power minus 6 into 16 into 10 power 4. So 16 into 2, 32. So 0.32 should be the answer. 32 into 10 power minus 2, that is 0.32. That is the answer. 30th. Okay. So generally, whenever, I just want to explain this, whenever you see the word heat, right? Heat means I square RT. But remember, capacitor will not allow direct current to pass through it. So whenever this kind of a question comes, then remember, they will indirectly ask you to calculate the energy stored in a capacitor. So there's a good problem. I suggest you guys to practice it again. Three capacitors, each of capacitance 4 microfarad, are connected in such a way that the effective capacitance is 6 microfarad. When will this happen?
2 in series and 1 in parallel.
2 in series? Yes.
Option B.
Correct. 2 in series and 1 in parallel. When 2 are in series, what will happen? The equivalent will be 2 microfarad plus it is connected in parallel to the 4, which become 2 plus 6. 31.
So for the 29th question, similarly, in case of inductor, we'll be finding only half Li square, not.
In the case of inductor, no. In the case of inductor has some resistance by default because inductor is also wire. Okay.
So there we can use I square.
No, there it is not going to happen because there is a completely different scenario. First of all, try to understand the concept here. This has a positive charge, this has a negative charge. What will happen when I directly connect them using a conducting wire? What would have happened? This is what we call it as short circuit. When you take a positive terminal and negative terminal and connect them together, you can see some sparks. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
So instead of using a wire of zero resistance, they have used a resistor. So they have actually short circuited with the help of a resistor. So how much will be the heat that will get produced in it? How much ever is the total energy possessed by the capacitor that will be lost in the form of heat across the resistor? That is what I meant. That is why I calculated half CV square. Generally, this kind of a question cannot come for an inductor. Okay? Because inductor is a wire which has a resistance. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if you are provided 3 resistors, 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and 6 ohm, how will you connect them so as to obtain the equivalent resistance of 4 ohm? There is a 10th standard question.
Yes.
Option A. So 3 and 2 or 6 are connected. How much will be the answer? 3 into 6 divided by 3 plus 6.
2 plus 2,
it will be
4.
2 plus 2, 4. This will be the answer. 32. Resistance is 1 ohm, 2 ohm, and 3 ohm are connected in the form of a triangle. If 1.5 volt of negligible internal resistance is connected across the 3 ohm resistor, the current flowing through the resistor will be 1, 2, and 3. 1.5 volt is connected across whom? Across the 3 ohm resistor. 1, 2, and 3. 1.5 volt of negligible value is connected here. Then the current flowing through this resistor means the 3 ohm resistor will be how much? So how to calculate this? So first of all, 1 and 2 are in series. So this becomes 3. 3 and 3 are in parallel. What will happen? Actually, we need not solve all these things, right? The current flowing is across the 3 ohm resistor, the potential difference is 1.5 volt. So I is equal to V divided by R. 1.5 divided by 3. It will become half, which is 0.5 ampere. Right?
Yes, sir.
33.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there is a hot electric iron that has a resistance of 80 ohm and is used on a 200 volt source. The electrical energy spent, if it is used for 2 hours, is electrical energy, they've asked the commercial form. Instead of kilowatt hour, they've given watt hour. So what is the answer? How to solve this? H is equal to I square RT or V square R.
So V square by R.
By R into T. Yeah, V square by R into T. V square is 4 into 10 power 4 divided by R is how much? 80 into the time is 2 hours. So you can leave it as 2 itself. So this will be in terms of watt. This is in terms of R multiplied watt-hour. So this goes 3 times. This goes 2 times. So 1000 divided by 2 into 2. So this and this will get cancelled. So answer will be 1000 watt-hour. 33 either. 33 option B is right. Okay. 34. So there is a particle that has a charge 100 times that of an electron, which is revolving in a circular path by radius of 0.8 meter with 1 rotation per second. The magnetic field produced at the center is R is equal to
QB by
So R is equal to
QB.
Is this what you're trying to say? MB divided by QB?
Sir.
But you cannot apply this. Why? Because
Sir,
you can
I didn't use this formula.
okay. So they told one
Q is
rotation
equal to Q.
No, they are asking what is the magnetic field produced at the center. So magnetic field produced at the center is because of some current. When will magnetic field get produced? Only when there is a current. So I should be equal to Q by T. Try to understand this. But what is the value of charge? There is a particle that has 100 times the charge of an electron divided by how much is the time it is taking to revolve? So how much is the time it is taking to revolve? It is 1 rotation per second. So its time period is 1. Guys, do you remember the concept of Bohr magneton and all? In the 5th chapter, there is a derivation. Do you guys remember that there will be an electron revolving in an atom? Due to that electron, there will be a dipole moment produced at the center. The dipole moment and angular momentum will be opposite each other. Do you guys remember this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
There we use this thing only, I is equal to Q by T. Read the question carefully. The common mistake that we do is circular path. Whenever we see R is equal to MB by QB. But that concept says when there is already magnetic field existing and you project a charged particle perpendicular to the magnetic field, then it will follow a circular path. But here, the electron is in a circular, the charged particle is in a circular path in such a way, due to the rotation of this charged particle, there is a magnetic field produced at the center. So what is that value? Is the question. Right? So I is equal to this much value. Then, what is the magnetic field produced due to a circular coil at the center? B is equal to 2R or 2A, whatever it is. So mu naught is the option I'm able to see. I is 100 into E divided by 2 into R is 0.8. So this goes 50 times. So E I can take it as 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. The whole divided by 0.8. 0.8 into 2 is this thing. So 100, this will cancel 10 power minus 13. So is there an option 10 power minus 13? Oh, not, that is minus 19. No, it becomes 10 power minus 18. Minus 17 times mu naught. Is there an option? Option D. I hope everyone is clear. So 34th, the option is D. Is there anyone having doubt? This is also a good problem.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So practice this again, okay? So what are we doing here? First, we are calculating the current due to the particle's revolution and then applying the formula B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2A. 35th. Oh, actually, this question, I don't know why I asked it again. There is a mistake last time itself. I told, so I can ignore this. Did anyone attempt this question?
Sir, I think option C, sir.
C is right, but you can't solve it because there is some ambiguity in the question.
Yes, sir. I didn't solve it, but
you would have remembered the answer. No, this I have asked already. I don't know if the question has again come. Marks will be awarded. Okay. If anyone has attempted this question, marks will be given. If not, no. 36. The deflection in a moving coil galvanometer falls from 50 divisions to 10 divisions when a shunt of 12 ohm is applied. The resistance of the galvanometer coil is. So how to solve this? There is a galvanometer. And for this galvanometer, what is happening? The deflection is falling from 50 to 10 when there is a shunt of 12 ohm that is applied. The resistance of the galvanometer is how much? reflection in the moving coil.
Sir, we have to connect the resistance parallel to the ammeter, sir. So that will be
Parallel
the
parallel to the galvanometer.
Parallel to the ammeter.
Where is ammeter? This is galvanometer.
Yeah.
The resistance of the galvanometer.
Mentioned as shunt, sir.
Okay.
When a shunt of 12 ohm is applied, so
shunt is connected to
you are converting galvanometer into ammeter.
Yes, but shunt is to the galvanometer. So initially what has happened? The galvanometer is like this. Moving coil galvanometer.
Connecting a resistance.
When you pass current through this full scale deflection current, then the current could push all the value to the pointer to 50 divisions. 50 divisions. Correct? So initially, what is the value of potential difference across the terminals A and B? It is Ig into G according to Ohm's law. Is this clear? This is a tricky question.
Yes.
Yes. Now.
Yes, sir.
Now, what will happen is across the same galvanometer, if you take a shunt resistance and connect. Okay. If you take a shunt resistance and connect, what is happening across this galvanometer? The divisions are falling to
50 divisions to the 10 divisions.
Instead of 50 divisions, it is falling to 10 divisions.
10
okay. Okay. Now, this time, the full scale deflection current, let's say it is Ig dash, and the remaining current I is flowing through S. Okay. So, can I say Ig? Okay. The full scale deflection current is still going to be the same. So, I minus Ig will flow here. So, Ig multiplied with capital G. Can I write it as I minus Ig multiplied with capital S? This is how we derive the formula for shunt resistance. Guys, am I clear? Okay. So,
yes, sir.
Okay. So, can I say this Ig is directly proportional to 50? Right? That is the capacity it has. So, it is directly proportional to 50. So, they have asked the resistance of the galvanometer. Resistance of the galvanometer is I minus Ig divided by Ig into S. Correct? 1 minute. I made a mistake. So, is this clear till this point? Is it clear till this point? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. So, initially, what was the current that is flowing? So, it came from 50 to 10. So, initially, it has a capacity of turning towards 50 divisions. So, this current I can put the galvanometer across a deflection of 50. So, 50 minus Ig is how much? It is coming down to 10 divided by 10 into the shunt resistance. How much is the shunt resistance? It is 12. So, 50 minus 12 is 40 divided by 10 into 12. It is going to be 48. So, 48 ohm.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. I couldn't understand why the number of divisions is substituted as currents.
I took it as proportionality. So, what I did is, this is what I did. 50 times Ig minus 10 times Ig divided by 10 times Ig. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now I can cancel that. That is the reason I took it as proportion.
Okay.
Okay. This also good question. Okay, but remember this formula. Maximum in your boards, they will ask you to apply this formula. This is a slightly tougher concept. Shall I move on to the next one, guys?
Yes.
The magnetic field due to a current carrying circular loop of radius 3 centimeter at a point on the axis at a distance of 4 centimeters from the center is 54 microtesla. What will be its value at the center of the loop? So what is the formula for the magnetic field on the axis? Mu naught circular current carrying loop. Loop means one turn. Coil means more than one turn. So mu naught I a square divided by 2 into a square plus x square the whole power 3 by 2, where a is the radius 3 centimeter and x is this distance 4 centimeter. So mu naught, what is that we don't know in this question? B dash, if I call this as B dash, we don't know the value of current. Mu naught I into a square is 9 divided by 2 into a square plus x square will be 25. So 25 power half, it becomes 5 cube. So listen. So 3 square plus 4 square is 25. 25 power 3 by 2. 25 power half is 5. So it becomes 5 cube. So mu naught I into 9 divided by 2 into 5 cube. That is the value of B dash. So what is that we can find from here? We can find the value of current. So I will be equal to 2 into 5 power 3 divided by mu naught into 9. So what is the value of magnetic field at the center? Mu naught I divided by 2a. So mu naught into I is 2 into 5 power 3 divided by mu naught into 9. The whole divided by 2 into a is 3. So mu naught, 2 and 2 will get cancelled. It will become 5 power 3 divided by 3 power 3. This is the value. So 125 divided by no option. Oh, I forgot this B dash here. Into B dash. So 5 cube into this thing into B dash is 54 into 54. So it becomes 125 divided by 27 into 54. This will cancel 2 times. So 125 into 2, 250. Is there an option? 37C is the answer. 250 microtesla. Okay. 38. According to the Gauss law of magnetism, directly you can say 38. Answer is A. 39th. A pair of adjacent coils has a mutual inductance of 1.5 Henry. Guys, by the way, is there anyone having a doubt in the 37th problem? Is everyone clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So 1 second.
Okay, you want to copy it?
Yes.
Please do. But you understood the concept, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please copy it.
Yes, sir. Done. Thank you.
Okay. So what is the answer for 39, guys? Would have solved it? Check your solution, check your answer sheet and tell me. 39th. A pair of adjacent coils has a mutual inductance of 1.5 Henry. The current in one coil changes from 0 to 20 ampere in 0.5 seconds. Change in the flux linked test. So what is the relation? What is the formula for mutual inductance, guys? Mutual inductance is equal to so it is changing. They've involved time also. So what is the formula for mutual inductance? Mutual inductance will be equal to the amount of flux changing per unit current, I think. Yeah. It's 1.5. So M is equal to 1.5 Henry. The current in one coil changes from 0 to 20 ampere. So delta I is equal to 0 to 20 ampere is 20 ampere, and the time taken is 0.5 seconds. So mutual inductance will be equal to change in flux divided by the change in current. So what is the value of delta phi then? It will be 1.5 into 20. So 1.5 into 20 is going to be 15 into 2, 30 Weber per millions. Okay. 40th is also similar question. The coefficient of mutual inductance when the magnetic flux changes and the current changes from 0.01 second in 1 second. Sorry, 0.01 ampere in 1 second. So what is the formula, guys? See, by the way, I hope you understood how we got this formula. We know this formula M into delta I by delta T. Do you guys know this formula?
Yes, sir.
Right. So M will be equal to E divided by delta I by delta T. But what is E according to Faraday's law? Delta phi by delta T divided by delta I by delta T. This and this will get cancelled. So delta phi by delta I is equal to M. That is what I used in the previous problem. Now, since they have given M and they have given the change in current per unit time and also the we need to find M. Okay. M will be when magnetic. So again, delta phi by delta I only. So that is 2 into 10 power minus 2 divided by 10 power minus 2. Cancel it. Answer will be 2 Henry. 41. The power factor of the circuit shown in the figure is. See, when somebody asked me about the resistor, inductor. See, inductor also has some resistance of 40 ohm. Okay. The power factor is cos phi is equal to R divided by Z. Right. So R is 40 divided by Z is how much? Root of R square. So what is the total resistance of the circuit? So resistance is 40 ohm. This is not an ideal inductor. This is an inductor which has some resistance. So it will be 80 square plus XL minus XC the whole square. 100 minus 40 the whole square is 60 square. So 8, 6 and 10 are Pythagorean triplets. So 40 divided by 100, this will get cancelled. 2 divided by 5, 2 divided by 5 is 0.4 is the answer. 41. Oh, sorry. 0.5 is 4 is not the answer. Again, I made a mistake. R is 80. So 80 divided by 10, which is going to be 0.8 ampere. Did you understand why I wrote 80? Because the equivalent resistance is this resistance and this should be added. 80 divided by 100, which is going to be 0.8. 42nd. Mr. Iyer takes a grinder rated 220 volt, 50 hertz to US where the supply is 110 volt and 60 hertz. He needs to use what? What should he do? So should he use, see, voltage is high in India, in US it is less. So do you need to step down or step up? Obviously you need to step down. So this and this are wrong, not needed. So A or C is the answer. So which one is right? Grinder. Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Mr. Iyer takes a grinder rated 220 volt. Oh, okay. In US, what is he supposed to do? US, the voltage that is coming is 110. So he needs to increase it, right? So that this grinder is able to work. You're able to understand, guys? So
Yes.
now the grinder is no more in India, it is in US. In US, you are able to get the input voltage only as 110 volt. But how much is the input voltage needed for the grinder? It is 220 volt. So you need to use a step-up transformer. So how many times are you supposed to increase? So what do you mean by turn ratio? So turn ratio is defined as the number of turns of the primary, the ratio of the number of turns of the primary to the number of turns of the secondary. So number of turns in the primary is 110 divided by 220. So you need to use a step-up transformer with the turn ratio of 1:2. 43rd. There is a transformer which has 500 primary turns and 10 secondary turns. If the secondary has a resistive load of 15 ohm, the currents in the primary and the secondary coils are. Tell me the answer, please. A transformer has 500 primary turns and 10 secondary turns. If the secondary has a resistive load of 15 ohm, the current in the primary and the secondary are. So what is the answer? Guys, why no one is responding? How to solve this? No one has solved this problem? So what are the assumptions that we take in an ideal transformer? The power will be the same in both the power will be the same in both the coils. The power loss is 0. Right? When that is going to be the case, then is this not the formula that you're going to get I primary by I secondary is equal to E secondary divided by E primary is equal to N secondary divided by N primary. Now apply this formula and tell me what that's. So what is the answer for this? So N secondary is how much? 100. Sorry, 10. N primary is 500. Cancel it. 1 divided by 50. So I primary by I secondary should be equal to 1 by 50. So which option is going to give you 1 by 50? So if you check out, option D will give you the right answer. Okay. Because 3.2 divided by 0.16. Okay, that will give you the right answer. 44. There is an electric bulb which is marked 400 volt and 400 watt and 220 volt, which is used in a circuit of supply 100 volt. Its power would be how much? So 44. There is an electric bulb which is rated at 40 watt and 200 volt. So the power rating is 40 watt and 200 volt. Or you can write it as 40, 200. Is used in a circuit of supply 100 volt. Its power would be how much? So they gave this rating for you to find the resistance. R is equal to V squared divided by P. So 4 into 10 power 4 divided by 40. It will go 3 times. This and this will get cancelled. So 1000 ohm is the resistance. Okay. So once you find the resistance, we can apply P is equal to V square divided by R. V square is 10 power 4 divided by R is 1000. Cancel it. 10. Answer is 10 watt. Okay. So let's do the section C, then we'll come to the assertion reason. 50th one, what is the answer? 8 dipoles of charges of magnitude T are placed inside a tube. The total electric flux coming out of the tube. You need not even solve this. What is the answer?
0.
0. You place 880 infinite. If it is a dipole, the total charge is 0. Hence, the answer is 0. 51. In figure shown, two positive charges Q2 and Q3 fixed along the y-axis exert a net force in the positive x direction on charge Q1 along the x-axis. If a positive charge capital Q is added at x, 0, then the force on Q1 shall what? So what will happen? So there are two positive charges, Q2 and Q3, which are fixed along the y-axis, exert a net force in the x direction on the charge Q1. So this is happening. They both exert a force like this, and the net force is acting along the x direction. If another positive charge capital Q is added at this point, then what will happen to the force here? So that is also a positive charge. So what will it try to do? Along with the resultant of these two forces, this one will also add to it. So it will become F1 plus F2. Correct? So it will increase along which direction, guys?
Negative x direction.
So that should be the answer. 1 minute. Two positive charges, Q2 and Q3, exert a force. Oh, I'm sorry. Exert a force in the positive x direction. Sorry. I thought I read it as x direction. Means what is happening? This is, then what is the nature of charge Q1, guys? It is a negative charge. Only then it can experience a force in this direction. Now, if you add capital Q here, along with the existing resultant force, there will be another force acting. So what will happen to the force acting on Q1? It will increase along the positive x direction. Guys, I hope I'm clear, right? I hope I'm clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 52nd. I think this is the same question which I asked last test. Same question. 10 milliampere current can pass through a galvanometer of resistance 25 ohm. What resistance in series should be connected through it so that it is converted into a voltmeter of a certain value. So R is equal to V divided by IG minus capital G. V is how much? 100 divided by IG is 10 milliampere. So 10 into 10 power minus 3. This will cancel. So it will become 10 power 4. That is 10,000 minus IG is how much? Sorry, G is 25. So 10,000 minus 25 is 9,975. There are 3 voltmeters A, B, C, which have the range of 15,000, 10,000, and 5,000 respectively. The best voltmeter among them to use is the one with resistance of 15,000 because voltmeter should have higher resistance. A milliammeter of range 0 to 25 milliampere. So IG is equal to 25 milliampere and resistance of 10 ohm. So capital G is equal to 10 ohm is to be converted into a voltmeter with range of this much. The resistance that should be connected in series. R is equal to V divided by IG. So V is 25 divided by IG is 25 into 10 power minus 3. Cancel this minus 10. So it becomes 1000 minus 10, which is 990. So what are the options? Let me check the options. 52, it is D, 9975. 53 is an ideal voltmeter should have high resistance. Okay, C. 54 answer is C, not correct. So to convert a moving coil galvanometer into a voltmeter, you need to connect a high resistance in series. So 55 option is high resistance in series with the, sorry. You need to connect the high resistance in series with the moving coil galvanometer. Okay, since we saw it last time, I went a little fast. So what is the answer for 45th, guys? On going away from a point charge or a small electric dipole, the electric field decreases at the same rate in both the cases. True or false?
False.
Why?
Dipole, it is 1 by R cube times.
Yes. So only option false is this thing, 45D. 46. Circuits containing high capacity capacitors charged to a high voltage should be handled with caution, even when the current in the circuit is switched off. Is that right? Yes. Because you are talking about high capacity capacitors, means they can hold more amount of charge. So when you switch it off, the current also, what will happen? It will be able to hold more amount of charge. So when you try to touch it, what will happen? There will be an accident. So when an isolated capacitor is touched by hand or any other part of the human body, there is an easy path to the ground available for the discharge of the capacitor. This is also true because our body is a good conductor of electricity. Is this reason supporting the assertion? Yes or no? So option A is the right answer. So there is a small coil carrying current which is in equilibrium, is perpendicular to the direction of the uniform magnetic field. Is that right? So there is a small coil. If the small coil has to be in equilibrium, then it should be perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's true. Torque is maximum when placed in a plane of coil and direction of the magnetic field are parallel to each other. So plane of a coil and magnetic field are parallel to each other means the areal vector is perpendicular to magnetic field. So when areal vector is perpendicular to magnetic field, I can say torque is equal to NIBA sin theta. So theta will be 90 degrees. So torque will be maximum. So what is going to happen? In this case also it is true. But here they spoke about equilibrium. Equilibrium can be translational as well as rotational. Whereas in the second case, they spoke only about torque, which is going to be rotational. So both are right individually, but reason is not the right explanation for A. Inductance coil are made of copper. 48.
True, sir.
Yes. Induced current is more in wire having less resistance.
True, sir.
Yes. So that is the reason why it is made with copper. Faraday's law, the consequences of conservation of energy. Is it true? First, Faraday's law is related to whom? E is equal to minus delta phi by delta t. Delta minus sign it is indicated by Lenz's law. Lenz's law is a consequence of conservation of energy. So, is Faraday's law. I can say it is true. In a purely resistive AC circuit, the current lags behind the EMF in phase. Obviously, it's false because for the case of resistive circuit, EMF and current are in the same phase. So A is true, but R is false. Okay, that's it, right? So there are no changes in this except which question? For 35th alone, you will be getting marks if you have attempted this question. If not, there are no changes in the paper. Okay. So that's it from my side, guys.
Sir,
No more. Please tell me.
Sir, can you help me with my preparation? So can you just send some questions so that I can practice that, sir?
You will do the question papers itself. You wrote nearly 55 into almost 9. 450 questions are there already. I've given assignments. Just go through them again and again. That is more than sufficient.
Okay, sir. So for assessment and reasoning questions, sir.
You again go through the questions that I've given. They are slightly tough only. See, they cannot ask beyond that. Whatever I have asked are very tough.
Yes,
I'll be honest about it. Okay. If you are able to answer those questions, means if you are able to revise them again, understand the logic behind which one is right. If you are able to choose that, that is more than sufficient. They will not ask more tougher.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. That's it, guys. Any other doubt?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then we will wind up. I'll see you.
Sir, I have one request, sir. For the video for the third test and second test aren't visible, sir.
Which one? I didn't get it.
Second test, part 2. Test series part 2.
Okay. Part test 2. What happened to it?
I think the recorded video was not sent.
No. I think I didn't have a class at that point. I don't remember taking part test 2 and 3. Okay.
Can you